Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder, to 3 gameplays in the new Japanese premium tank, the Type 74G. So, 3 different gameplays, because the first one will be my usual shenanigans on the Advanced to the Rhine map. Then I will have a rather interesting map, with a rather interesting choice of situations. And at the end, a survivor gameplay for you, for all of you that want to see that. So, the Type 74G. It is, for all intents and purposes, at battle rating 8.7 and rank 6, like the previous Type 74 in the tech tree. Same shells, same gun, everything basically the same. However, a little bit, both tanks changed since the last patch. First of all, the M735 is now the stock APFSDS and for free, and also the shell that I will use all the time in all gameplays. Then you have a hash shell, then you have the heat shell with 400mm of penetration, a smoke round, and then the Type 93. And this is now a tier 4 upgrade with 405mm of penetration, overall positive normalization, good mass velocity with 1500 meters per second, good post-penetration damage effect, etc, etc. But I have to say that the M735 does the job as well, with 360mm of penetration. Why should I use anything else, to be honest? And it's for free, so you earn also a little bit of silver lines with it, or you, how should I say it, you just spend nothing on ammunition. So it also has, and that is a good thing for a change, the maximum research point modifier and the maximum silver line modifier for tanks, respectively. And so, yeah, you just don't have any high expenses on ammunition, like on the M60A1DC Ariete, the Italian one. You have a stock APFSDS for free, like the Shotcal Dalet. And you have even an upgraded one if you're a real tryhard, but honestly, you just don't need it. As you can see here, the tank kills everything. You see a lot of down tiers, you see a lot of good matches, I have to say, at the moment. And I have to say, in this video I have enough time to talk about also about some other thoughts that are interesting. Those are first impressions. This is not a review, although I throw numbers around like somebody else will do in his review, but that's not my standard of review. Again, I have to first play a lot of the things, I have to get into the meta, but it's fairly obvious. It is mobility, it is stabilizer, APFSDS, and just gun breach disabling or one-shot depending on the enemy. And 8.7 is kind of a new black hole. This is where you see then a lot of the top tier matches that where you are top tier respectively. And with 10.0 being the ultimate top tier at the moment, despite the new tanks being more powerful, faster, better guns with better APFSDS, it's still 10.0. So much for compression and our wishes for decompression getting evaporated patch after patch. I have to say, at first, when you look at this new shell, the Type 93, you think to yourself, oh my god, this is the new big bad boss on the battlefield, right? Not really. Look, it obviously has some drawbacks, but if you compare this to some of the other tanks at around this battle rating, especially the premium tanks, the Shotcal Dalet in particular also has a very good stock APFSDS, and that's effectively everything that you need. In my opinion, it doesn't really make a huge difference at this battle rating if you have the M735 or the Type 93, at least in the battles with the matchmaker that I played, and I played some battles with this tank so far. And yeah, overall the tank feels okayish in a straight line. It is decently fast, but in maneuvering situations I don't like it. It turns way too slow. It just doesn't do really the turning all that well. It's not a tank that I think is really maneuverable. It is mobile but not maneuverable, and those are two distinct things. I hope I always point them out good enough. And yeah, then the next thing is the zoom. The zoom is really great, and for me, honestly, a bit too good. If you play some other tanks with less magnification, you just aim by default. I'm not really looking at the numbers at this point. I'm just I'm just really looking at the distance between the tank and the middle of the crosshair in those corner fights, in this jumping on top of a ridgeline, taking the shot. And so I have to get used to it. So I'm sorry for some of the shots that you will see. But hey, this is just, I think muscle memory. If you jump between the nations, between the tiers, and also the game modes, this is just something that happens. So I'm sorry about this. So what are the drawbacks from this tank to some of the other tanks? Well, first of all, it has 6 degrees of gun depression, which is not really that great. It's just a touch better than your standard Russian gun depression, but that's not really good. And only 9 degrees of gun elevation means that very often, if you are in the wrong position where with another tank that usually has 20 degrees of gun elevation, you run into problems. Yes, you have hydro-pneumatic suspension to make up for it, but I don't really think that this is good enough. It takes too long, and the situations are usually not that often occurring where you have the time and where you can plan in advance. But it is still a possibility, and if anybody is really looking for a premium tank that has this feature, this is, as far as I know, the only one, and the first one so far. So plus minus whatever you wanna look forward. What about the armor? It's not really that remarkable. The times where the Type 74 had this really strong turret and didn't have to fear anything, they're long gone. So the turret is paper, the hull is paper, from the side, from the rear, and from the front. Sometimes I bounce stuff, but I would not rely on it. Maybe versus some of the infantry fighting vehicles. Yeah, let's finish here off the topic of the firepower. The loader can reload in 6.7 seconds, but it feels longer. It somehow feels longer. 6.7 is really great, but not extremely good. It's L7, you name it. On top of this, you have quite literally a 50 cal, and that is good for marking, spotting, and also for threatening aircraft. And it can elevate further than only 9 degrees, which is a big plus point. Then you also have smoke launchers and smoke grenades. So you have the full package, and it is a little bit of a different flavor to your normal premium tank. It is not an XM1. It is too slow, and it doesn't have quite the quality in the stabilizer. It also doesn't have the flair of a Magach or a Shot-Kal Dalet, which are, in my opinion, it is weird to say this, but they look battle hardened. Not just because they have the era protection, which at their battle rating is worth something, but yeah, it is a cool tank. It looks cool, it drives cool, it does the job, it is a worthy premium, and with now the battle rating at 8.7 compared to 9.0 from the dev server, I think you have somewhat a good lineup. You have the regular Type 74, the Type 74G Premium, which I currently drive. Then you have also the Type 89, the Type 87, if you previously bought it, the Type 75. And so you can see you have a full lineup. You can also additionally support it with the STB1, and if you are really crazy, with the Type 60 SBRG and this Type 60 ATM. So I think the Japanese have somewhat a decent lineup, even to the extreme, with some aircraft support now. Everything that you wish. And I think that is a good change. I think that this truly is a change for the Japanese that they need. And when previously the Type 75 was a tank that how should I say it? It was more of a meme tank. It was one of the best performing rocket tanks, but rockets are having their own traits. And I think so many people are used to driving a normal tank. They want to get the experience for that nation at this battle rating. And I think it is now more an option rather than a must-have to grind. I myself put the talisman on the Type 74 quite some time ago, made a video about it. And so I have now a real effective grinding lineup that I also can use to get some silver lines. And also the stock grind now for the Type 74, the regular one, with the stock Up-APFSDS is so much better. And the Type 74 itself has seen a remarkable selection or collection of changes, where the stock APDS was previously then buffed, and now it has stock Up-APFSDS and even stronger Up-APFSDS. So yeah, I think this tank has changed for the better, and now this premium to top it off. Yeah, but I think it's again a little bit late. And for me personally, I had the Type 90 for quite some time now. At the moment, for me, it is not really that useful, whereas for other nations, they then have some new top-tier tanks. Japan has, with the Type 90, the original Tier 7 tank, if you think about it. But back to this tank. Again, if you think about it, if you think about the Leopard A1A1 with the L44 and the regular Leopard A1A1, when you think about the T55AM, when you think about the XM1 and also the Shotcal Dalet, this tank is not really something truly special, but it's good. And so I think the hype about the Type 93 shell, I didn't really understand it. And I so far didn't use it outside of the test drive. There is nothing exceptional except more penetration, and that for 830 civil lines per shot, whereas you can have the M735 for free that basically does the same job. That's my decision. Bad aim here, could have disabled the gun breach as well. Shot was taken too hastily, and now my team does great work. And the tanks are now in a little bit of a crossfire. This is just my playstyle, going in aggressively, bringing the fight to the enemy, and just working with the stabilizer. Yes, I could use here the hydro-pneumatic suspension, but, you know, I don't have to. Very often people say, why didn't you do this, why didn't you that? You know, in the heat of the battle, sometimes you just don't react too quickly. You're already in the reload of another shell. Game mechanics change from patch to patch. It's not really easy to do everything at one moment, always in perfection. I obviously seek to do so, and sometimes I come very close with certain gameplays, and then I'm very proud of them, and I present it to you in a gameplay. So my verdict on the Type 74 is that it is a good premium tank. It's enjoyable, it does the job, and my personal predictions are that it will be a little bit of power creep safe, because it is very strong. It has Up-APFSDS. You already have with this tank a slower version of the top tier meta. Everybody snipes your gun breech and your gun barrel. You have Up-APFSDS, you have a stabilizer, you have a decent reload. So this is practically a lot of the, I guess, feeling from top tier. Now watch this. Yeah, for the zone captured, I got 8 silver lines. Count them, 8. Now let me talk about the problem with me as a YouTuber at the moment with War Thunder. A lot of the stuff, for example with ships, is broken. This patch was pushed out untested, and in many ways we have a lot of problems in tank RB, in air RB, in ship RB, even in arcade, even in simulator. We have compression and failed map design. So many things are wrong with this game, but there are people that just find their pleasure in playing either broken stuff, or they are okay with it, or they just are cherry picking because they have the capabilities to do so, whereas they have all or a lot of the tanks where they then can just play the flavor of the month and don't care. But for me as a YouTuber, I have to bring out content in order for my YouTube channel to be successful and also to get the views. It's not really about the money and the subscribers, but for the people that have subscribed to me to have for them a sustainable video output, I'd say. And I have chosen the path of daily content. If this is sustainable for me at the moment with this patch has to be seen. Again, I'm just grinding through here all the new stuff with first impressions on everything before I go to the reviews. But then the first impressions make more views because they are earlier than the proper reviews. But this is just my understanding of quality. If something on my channel has the branding of a review, it has to be truly proven. It has to be on point, at least for that patch. And with many things changing, with many things being, undergoing various different approaches by Gaijin in terms of how they then play out, this is not so easy. So the review, for example, on the Kanonboot K2 is already outdated because now the ship spawns with the patrol boats, which is obviously a big advantage for that ship. On the other hand, I have to say that the difference when it comes to what a tank has to face in every single patch, the reviews on the top tier main battle tanks in certain situations are also outdated. When previously the Abrams was a difficult nut to crack, now with the new breed of APFSDS and the opposition being there, the Leopard 2A5 spam, a few elements of the review are outdated. And so are the premiums in a constant change. As of this point, I do not recommend anything. Make up your own mind. Just think about what you have experienced in the past. Think about where this game is going with the development of the recent patches, and then think about if this purchase is for you worth it. For this tank in particular, you have to ask the question, at some point will we see rank 8 with some made up tanks, with some other new tanks? So can you then grind with this tank those up future tanks? I mean, who saw rank 6 coming? Who saw rank 7 coming that way, that soon, with that load of implementation? Who bought a tank and then the tank was obsolete for the top tier research? Then no tank, no vehicle at all in War Thunder is safe from some sort of bugs, from power creep, from any sort of changes in the negative way. Again, look at the M60 A1 DC Ariete. What can, in theory, happen, or what Gaijin tried to pull off with this premium tank? Take away the stabilizer. I don't know anything about historical accuracy on those modern top tier tanks. Everything that I know or that I've heard, I literally heard from people that, granted, I trust and I know that they are doing their stuff properly. But at the end of the day, there is just there are so many question marks. There is so much what if, and balance and questions around all those topics that I just have a quick look at the post-battle results, and for 5 kills and effectively 1 capture zone captured, I got 72,500 silver lines and 9,400 research points together with the Survivor Award. That's a nice income. I'm glad about that this tank is at least not really broken in any way, shape or form, and that if you have to say this about this 8.7 tank at this point and state of the game, well, that tells a little bit more than I want to admit. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other in the skies, on the waves, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.